Check out how this grant writer went from a hamster wheel of making $100,000 a year, working 50 hours a week, to making over $450,000 a year later, and she's likely gonna break the $1 million mark this year, 2024. In this video, I'm gonna be breaking down the exact steps she took to overhaul her business and life. Let's get into it. We first got to know Elaine when she asked if she could come to our first ever grant writing retreat in Sedona. So she was not a member, but we figured, hey, every party needs a wild card, so we let her come. She had seen our website and thought, well, their content is only for newbie grant writers. Now I know how to write grants. And she thought, I can't afford a membership. I don't even have time to implement anything new anyway. If you are an existing grant consultant and you have any of those concerns, have a look at how we've coached her to 10x her business in just 2 years. For context, I started my career grant writing consulting, later scaling that business during the rush of pandemic grants, spinning up an agency of 6 grant writers in 2 weeks. We did mid-6 figures in 6 months, and then our favorite members of what was originally a standalone grant writing course asked how can they make money as grant writers too? And that was how the Global Grant Writing Collective came to be, where we have now coached a few thousand individuals to build dreamy grant writing careers and win over $627 million in grants. Plus, I'm not gonna get into it too much now, but there is a very, very, very good chance that I'm gonna be jumping back into grant writing consulting myself because of the AI grant writing software we built in-house being a total game changer. Often when we see people further down the road in their journey, we assume they've always been there, and we forget that they started the same place you are. In Elaine's former life, grant writing had been a large part of her job, and when she worked for a municipal arts program for about 9 years, it was sort of how she fell into grant writing, right? And that's a common situation, like we fall into it. And when she left that role, she missed the grant writing and the creative storytelling aspect of it the most. So she took this other job because it minimized her commute, but it was a lot less creative.
I started my grant consultancy in July 2020 because I was just feeling so unfulfilled in my daily life. I was working as an admin, like an executive assistant at our local hospital. It was fine. It paid the bills. It was fine. And I kept coming home from work every day, and my husband was just like, you hate your job. What are you doing? You have so many talents and things you could be exploring. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, why don't you start grant writing again? And I'm like start a business? Like, people don't just do that. And he's like, they do it all the time. He was really that push.
Now, after tinkering with her website for far too long and making things perfect, we call this fancy busy work in the collective, her husband, yet again, took things into his own hands, put it on his Facebook that she's open for business. And was she ready? No. But did she need that push? Yes. We all need a loving kick in the pants sometimes. Now, rather quickly, because they've been really involved in their community, people that Elaine knew began coming to her for grant writing support. It wasn't long before she had a handful of pretty tremendous clients, which got her thinking realistically about whether she could take this thing full time. So she was still working at the hospital and was about to go on maternity leave. Now, when she left her cubicle a week before giving birth, she knew she would not be returning. So she used that time to build her runway to make sure that she never had to work a 9-to-5 again that did not light her up. Now, as someone with a 4-month-old baby, this is an incredible feat. But Elaine, on no sleep, hormone whiplash, all of that, it's amazing what you can do when you hit that point when enough is enough and you're gonna build a life no matter how deep you have to dig for it. Business was going very well for Elaine. She was able to replace her income and more than she was making at the hospital through grant writing contracts. However,
I had been doing my own consulting for a couple years when I started seeing you guys on Instagram, and it was great to be able to have, my own schedule, my own calendar, but it was lonely. It was really lonely, and there's really no glory in being the do all the things. I mean, it burns you out like beyond beliefs. I can't scale any more than myself because I'm one human. I need to find a team. I need to find a community. And that's what led me to y'all.
She found us, the Global Grant Writing Collective, on Instagram of all places in August of 2022. She shared with me that she immediately felt connected to our vibe and our overarching mission of helping grant consultants gain freedom through building businesses that support your dream lifestyle. So she DM'd us. This is your official invitation, by the way, and reach out to me on LinkedIn, Instagram, the company LGW page, DM us. We love to meet you. Then we invited Elaine, like I said, as the wild card to our Sedona retreat because, again, every good party needs a wild card. And this is what Elaine had to say. The retreat changed me. I immediately felt so connected to those complete strangers who welcomed me with open arms. They were doing the same thing as me, and they were experiencing similar struggles and triumphs and the like. And I had found my community. So she officially joined the collective in October of 2022 while still at the retreat. And this was a pivotal moment for her in her business. Over the next few months, she devoured our course curriculum, wishing she'd had it years prior in her grant writing journey, and she gained the skills and confidence that she needed to evolve her business. So she attended coaching calls, she connected with other amazing unicorns on similar paths, growing their businesses, and she basically showed how to capitalize on her strength. She began gaining clarity around, okay, what's her true zone of genius, right? What types of clients do you want to work with for the long term? What expertise she needed to be able to bring into her business to deliver on a 7-star level of service. If you're wondering what a 7-star experience is, it's actually a core value that we have out here at Learn Grant Writing, and it was inspired by this podcast I listened to forever ago. It was on Masters of Scale with Brian Chesky. He's the founder of Airbnb, and he describes how we've come to expect 5 stars. Really, to wow someone, it has to be 7 stars. Now, to figure out what 7 stars is, you have to go through this step-by-step process from 6 stars being perhaps there's a bottle of wine and snacks waiting for you when you arrive, to 7 stars, the host made a reservation at a restaurant that's impossible to get into for you, and all the way up to 11 stars, which was Elon Musk, because this is before he turned into an arrogant turd. But he takes you on a flight to space, door to door from your Airbnb. He's executing on 11 stars, insanely expensive and complex. Yes, but all of a sudden, 7 stars doesn't seem that crazy, even though it actually is logistically. That's how we think about developing and serving you in the collective. So it's beyond your expectations. And that's what we encourage you to do for your clients, because that's how you truly become the only option. Here are some tangible transformation for those of you interested in the nitty-gritty. Since October of 2022, Elaine's revenue has grown from $10K to $50K in monthly revenue. In 2022, she closed the year with about $120K in total revenue. And in 2023, she closed out that year with $450K. And she is seriously marching towards hitting 1 million in revenue this year. How awesome is that? Her grant win rate has increased because she now has a team of reviewers that can ensure that the proposals are going out at the highest level. And finally, she secured more than $4.4 million for her clients just this year. So what is that framework that Elaine has done so that you can replicate it? Step 1, buy back your time. The first thing you have to do once you hit that pain line of not being able to possibly work more hours is to get yourself out of administrative tasks that are soul-sucking and low value. This means hiring an executive assistant to manage your inbox, your calendar, send invoices, you name it. I just started working with the new EA last week. Her name is Belle. And if things work out as well as I think they will, I'll definitely be making a recommendation for that firm in the collective in a few months. The bottom line is you have to free up your time so that you are working on high value, high earning tasks. Step 2, build a team. The only true way to get leverage in your business is not to be the sole talent. Plus, it is so much fun to build a stable business that gives people jobs that are fun, flexible, and fulfilling. Elaine expanded her team to having 3 others who all bring insane value and expertise. And look, we're getting pitched all the time by people asking if we have job openings. You want that too. Now, the biggest objection I hear, and I had it as well, is that you don't want the responsibility and stress of managing someone and being responsible for their livelihoods. And I get that, okay? This is how you address that fear. Step 3. Charge more. Now, when our members hit 50K in revenue, they can join for free until this summer anyway, heyo, our Elite 5% Club Mastermind. So 5% is a play on the dismal fact that only 5% of businesses started hit 100,000 in annual revenue. And heck, my goal is to get you into the 2% club, which is the number of businesses that hit $1 million in annual revenue. So we have these hot seat calls where I personally look very deeply at your business and diagnose what is holding you back from incredible growth and joy. I quickly figured out that Elaine would never grow her business if she didn't increase her prices because she could not afford to hire help. How do you charge more and not do more work with existing clients? I show you how to navigate that, and from that, I've learned how to establish a new pricing system for clients that we now called the cake pricing method. Step 4, cull the herd. Even if you charge more, if a client sucks and is depleting your energy, or it's hard to win grants for them, they have to go. If they truly can't afford your rates, you can refer them often to a newbie grant writer in the collective that's building their portfolio. So long as we're not talking insanely low rates, because no. You have to become super intentional about who you work with. So you're not only bringing in clients that fire up you, but they fire up your whole team. The test we have internally is called the Unicorn Client Test, where you ask yourself, can I see myself working with this client for 5 or more years? If the case is yes, Keep them in the herd. Step 5, systematize. As you start fine-tuning your business, the biggest transition you go through is getting everything out of your head and into a repeatable system that others can follow or run. For example, not uploading your own receipts to your bookkeeping system, or creating invoices, or even running client meetings. Then there's step 6, belief upgrades. The first time I coached Elaine on the reality of her client pricing, she knew she needed to increase her pricing, but her nervous system was not ready to take action. It was afraid that she'd lose clients, that no one would pay the higher fee. Why is she worth getting paid more? Look, I get it. The price of the collective is $6,000 a year. Intellectually, I know it's the equivalent of a master's degree, where the average price is between 56 and 75 grand. I mean, seriously, Elaine's turned her $6K into $500K. Hello, not a bad ROI. But when it comes time to actually do the thing and you need to charge more, if we don't have our nervous system on board, we won't do it. That is why we dive headfirst into money psychology and money mindset work, so that you have tangible tools to upgrade your beliefs on a daily basis. Because belief upgrade work is now one of the 3 daily non-negotiables in our program. Step 7, get a coach. New levels, new devils. Elaine and several of my other superstars are discovering new upper limits to bust through. And so for that reason, it's important that they continue to learn from the best of the best. And that's why actually we're hosting a live in-person mastermind called Bend Your Business Boundaries. It's happening in Bend, Oregon. What a play. April 23rd to 25th for existing grant consultants only. I'm co-hosting with Elizabeth Burrows, who owns a multi-million-dollar grant agency, and our guest speaker is this guy that spun up an AI-powered grant consultancy agency in 8 months, making $200,000 a month in revenue with 0 clients to start with. Okay, so he also helped us build a proprietary grant writing software that is only available to members of the collective. He's going to be sharing everything he's done to build that business, like holding nothing back. Super pumped for it. If you've made $50,000 at least in consulting revenue, feel free to DM me directly on LinkedIn or ask for details of the event. We are sold out, but I think I could still get some extra rooms. Look, I don't care who you learn from, but the biggest thing is pick your coaches in life and pick the ones who've been where you want to go. The ones that are living an expansive life, who are the best of the best in their industry. I've asked Elaine what she's most proud of, and she said,
I feel like I'm building something that I can pass down to my kids. They're young, so obviously there's a bit of time before they will be entering the workforce, but they're like, oh, mommy is working. And they're starting to ask more questions like, well, what do you do? And because I'm in front of a computer a lot, it could be anything. And I work with some amazing that are trying to help people and save the world and this and that. And they're like, mommy's a superhero. And okay, I'm not crying. You're crying. Getting those nonprofits to a point where they get the funding that they need to literally change the world. But just knowing in my heart that I had something to do with that. And it's just, I go to bed every night just like smiling. And I wake up the next morning like, let's do it again.
so cute. So I asked Elaine what she wants you to know, and this is what she had to say. She said, I can't say enough about the collective, and now it has radically changed my life for the better. If you're on the fence, know that it will be more than worth your time and investment. Grant consulting is hard work. I won't discount that, but the collective gives you the resources necessary to grow a thriving business, employ others who share in your passions, and truly build the life of your dreams. I am so grateful. Love that. The challenge to overcome here, if it's time, if it's money, if it's worry you're not going to like grant writing, worry you're not going to stick with the program to get the results, whatever, drop us a line. Email Rose at info@sendworks.org with your questions. Shoot us a DM on Instagram. Find me on LinkedIn. I don't care. You know how to find us. And if I don't think we can help you, I'll tell you. In recap, you too can build a side hustle that goes into a full-on grant consulting business that goes from struggling at that 100K mark to paying you 100K plus benefits. So this is how we do it. Step 1, we're buying back our time. Step 2, building a team. Step 3, charging more. Step 4, cull the client herd. Step 5, systematize. Step 6, upgrade those beliefs. And step 7, get a coach. If you are an existing consultant, if you've hit at least 50K in revenue, watch the training I'm going to be linking up below. If you are new to this freelance game, I want you to check out the second video. That's about how you can get paid client work right out of the gate with no prior experience. And I think that's a wrap. Thank you, and until next time.